is a design for a 200-acre property that we've been working on for a while now, and we're out here doing some work around a new metal building, and we're installing a food forest that's also going to have a lot of medicinals and native pollinators. So we're currently in kind of the hardscaping phase of that, but one of the things that I'm really excited about for this project that we're going to be working on through the summer and through the fall, this is such a big project, is dealing with improving what happens when we get a heavy rain. So right now we're right above the Pedernales River on this site. The water moves very quickly across overgrazed, compacted soil, and it drops down into the canyons and goes to the river and then goes out to the ocean, and it carries a lot of sediment with it. So our goal is to keep that soil on site and to help build soil. And when you can infiltrate more runoff instead of having it rush to the canyons and to the rivers, you also can help the microbiology in the soil live, which is going to help build the soil and the soil fertility. So we're going to do that with three different methods, well, many different methods perhaps, but four main ones. And so one of the ones that's very common in permaculture, that's almost like a surgery, is to do berms and swales. And so we have some pictures of some berms that we've built in the past. This is what they look like full. So this is the berm, and we've seeded it in this case with wildflowers and native grasses, and that's the swale where it fills with water and infiltrates. And this is the swale when it's empty, and that's the berm. You can see there's a little culvert that lets water in there because we had a road crossing, so we're harvesting water off of the road in that case. And so on this map and on this 200-acre property, off the top of my head, I think it's something like 2 miles of berms and swales, so quite a bit. And the total capacity of those berms and swales is going to be 800,000 gallons. So that's the actual full capacity of the swale. But the thing about these structures is they're going to be infiltrating water even as they fill up. So that 800,000 gallons isn't static. And as more grasses start to grow in the swale and on the berm, and trees and shrubs, those root channels will increase infiltration. So over time, these structures get more effective at infiltrating water. And there's 2 active springs on the property. And so one of our metrics of success is to see if we can keep those springs flowing year round instead of just after a rain event. I had kind of an epiphany a while ago that we install rain tanks, and so we think about, okay, what's the capacity off of a roof? And at some point I realized that every single property is like a giant rain tank, and the storage device is the soil. And so here in Central Texas, we have oftentimes very thin soil, and a lot of times there isn't very good ground cover on the soil. And so in that case, we've got a really shallow or really low capacity rain tank, and also the mechanisms for getting water into the rain tank are not very good when the ground is bare. And that can be getting worse through overgrazing and through the big flood rains that we have washing away what little soil is there. So oftentimes, one of the best things you can do for your property is to increase the amount of ground cover that you have. So if you look down at 1 little square foot of ground and you try to estimate about how much coverage there is, whether it's 50% or 60%, some places there's already 100% ground cover and you don't really need to do anything there. When the rain falls on plants, it softens the impact on the ground. So instead of picking up soil and carrying it off when the water starts to flow across the top of the ground, it'll hit the grass, and then it'll softly touch the ground. And then if there's root channels that go deep into the ground, which a lot of the native plants, even if they're small on top, they've got really deep root structures, the water can follow those roots down. One of the things that I see people thinking a lot is that the plants are taking water away from the ground. And so a lot of people will say things like, oh, the cedar trees hog all the water, or this plant or that plant takes away all the water. And what we also have to think about is, well, what are plants doing to help water get into the ground in the first place? And the plants also help it to rain in the first place through evapotranspiration. So when a plant takes up water, they use it to create more mass in their body, more biological matter, which then turns into soil when the plant dies. But they also evapotranspirate that water up. So when we have clouds that could rain, if they encounter more evapotranspiration, they're more likely to rain, which is why deserts tend to keep becoming worse and worse as far as precipitation goes, and why places like rainforests tend to generate more rain. We're here at the garage. We're standing over here. We're under this little tree right here, I believe. And that's our rain tank. And this is a mezzanine, so you can see the concrete foundations for it. So that's going to be like an overlook because there's a cool view. They're right on the Pedernales River, so this is the Pedernales River right over here. So if they build this kind of elevated deck, they're going to be looking out that way. So this is going to be a food forest. So these are fruit trees that we're going to plant. So a lot of the water goes down to those canyons and then goes down to the river.
You kind of see where our oriented. So that's north. This is south. So we're gonna get blasting sun from that direction in the late afternoon. So maybe put all of the materials on the east side of the tree so that we can sit on them. Yeah, we can sit on them in the afternoon.
My history in sales, which is what I did in high school and right after high school, and then combined with my passion for permaculture, kind of made the momentum of this thing pick up super fast. And my whole thing has always been like, how many people can I bring together and support their livelihoods in regenerating the earth in whatever way makes the most sense to them, within limits, right? It still has to be a business and all that. Unfortunately, I wish we could just do it for free and fun. That would be awesome. But so yeah, we've come a long way, and I feel like this year especially, we've just had some major breakthroughs. For instance, this project is a 200-acre project. The clients are incredibly kind, wonderful people, and they've basically, I've got this whole design here, and I presented it to them and had a whole budget spreadsheet, and they basically were like, yeah, let's do it. Let's do it all, the whole design. And so I was kind of blown away by that. Felt like a big victory. I was also kind of freaking out, like, oh my God, 200 acres, here we go. So we're breaking it up into reasonable chunks, but yeah, I mean, overall, like, as much as this work can be very challenging, I feel incredibly honored to be here in this position that I'm in. I feel very lucky, and I feel really happy that you guys are here with me. And I just want to see kind of where we end up and work together as a team to support each other and find our way forward. Totally clear of pipes beyond this point, like in the cross, like right over where Mickey's at. So.
I'm not sure how Crystal's for you.
That's why you gotta have two. I need another big one.
This 6 is too low.
Good morning.